The population of Tiko have been invited to massively turn out for the launch of the Divine Mercy Radio Television scheduled for Thursday 15 December. This was during a special live broadcast organized in the municipality this Wednesday, November 23rd by the radio and TV team. Some stakeholders in the Northwest and Southwest regions have taken the commitment to encourage more women to register for elections and take part in the decision-making process. This was at a 3-day workshop that wrapped up this Wednesday, November 23rd in Boya. Good evening and welcome to Divine Mercy Prime. I am Father Michael Jumo for presentation, and the news will be yours in a bit. Christians in the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda have celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Mill Hill Missionaries in Cameroon. This was during a Thanksgiving ceremony that took place at St. Joseph's Metropolitan Cathedral in Bamenda. Father Alphonse Ekema is with us for the details.
100 years of missionary endeavor is a story that will be forever told as Christians throughout Cameroon and particularly in the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda recount the devotion and efforts that the Mill Hill missionaries put through from the early days of primary evangelization to the state in which the church in the province is today.
The presence of the Mill Hill missionaries in Cameroon for 100 years is a very big blessing from God and a very big gift to our local church. You see that practically all that we have, all that we are, is founded on the presence of the Mill Hill missionaries in Cameroon. Practically 3/4 of our educational institutions were founded by the Mill Hill.
The 100 years of the arrival of the faith have been years of evangelization and foundation building for the effective implantation of the church that continues its mission today thanks to the efforts of the Mill Hill missionaries.
The Mill Hill missionaries laid a very solid foundation. Our church is strong and vibrant because of the great foundation of the Mill Hill missionaries. And they took every aspect of our lives, and we celebrate them and we congratulate them and we thank them for the wonderful job done to us.
Because we're celebrating 100 years of successful evangelization, of implantation of the church in our ecclesiastical province.
Impressions from some long-standing Mill Hill missionaries reveal much fulfillment as they observe the growth of the church this far.
I'm feeling very fine and happy. After 54 years in Cameroon as a Mill Hill missionary. Wonderful.
It was a wonderful celebration, a sign that the church is alive. The church is going from strength to strength, and that makes me very happy because after 100 years you would expect that, eh?
Celebrating their centenary, Mill Hill missionaries in the country look forward to a new era of evangelization where the mission shall take on another dimension.
The mission continues, the struggle continues. Like I said in my speech, we have to move on to another level. Not just the sound theology, but the lived theology. Not just talking about things, but doing the things.
4 of the Mill Hill missionaries first arrived Bota in the year 1992, and the small territory of only 4 parishes back then is now the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda with close to 200 parishes. Earlier in the month of March this year, Mill Hill missionaries visited Bota to recall the month and place where their activities started. This grand celebration is now in thanksgiving to God for what He has done in the church throughout the country through the instrumentality of the Mill Hill missionaries.
The population of Tiko have been invited to massively turn out for the launch of the Divine Mercy Radio Television scheduled for Thursday, December 15, 2022. This was during a special live broadcast organized in the municipality this Wednesday, November 23rd by the radio and TV team. Gillian Tata Yenla now tells us more in the following report.
The streets and quarters of the city of Tiko vibrated to the rhythm's quality outdoor broadcast, showcased by the Divine Mercy Radio Television of the Diocese of Buea. It was a resounding experience as DMR TV took the city of Tiko with an intriguing special broadcast this Wednesday, November 23, 2022, with the mayor unveiling the city to the world.
Tiko is going to face an airport not long from now. The funds are there, everything is there. This airport is coming. I'm calling on the population to cooperate because Douala already is a sad case. To take a car here to reach to Douala is a problem. Only the hold up itself, it can keep you 1, 2, 3 hours on the way. But when you reach at your Tiko airport, you get your plane in the air. You don't have what they call embouteillage. The seaport, the deep seaport in Limbe, the funds are available, and the construction of the deep seaport have earmarked Tiko as one of the terminals.
A terminal point.
So it is also easy that people will be boarding ships from Tiko, Wharf here, to go to Nigeria, to go to Cotonou, to go to wheresoever they want to go. We are not just only talking about that. Last week I was in Yaoundé for a meeting in the Prime Minister's office. Tiko again has been awarded a fishing port. We took our vision out, and the idea of the 5-star hotel came into discussions. It is already in the incubator. It will be getting matured, and it will be hatched, and people will see it.
At the esplanade of the Tiko Fan Zone, the historical changes of Tiko and the socio-economic dynamics of the city influenced the promotion of education, hence making the city unique with scholars.
We are not just entrepreneurial, but we are also very practical in everything that we are doing. When you look at on the table, you see the display. So we don't just teach students from theoretical based. No, we teach students with practicals.
Right,
you can look at because we have an ophthalmology department which was just added. We have a department of dentistry which was just added. And so we used all these things. When you look at these are the things for the midwives, the different stages of pregnancy that you can actually be able to see. Wow. And you can look at the things as they are being displayed.
The special broadcast organized on the sidelines of the launching of the television and radio stations gave an opportunity for the population of Tiko to acclimatize themselves with the operational mechanisms of the media.
Hello. This is the Tiko Wharf, the very famous Tiko Wharf in Tiko, southwest region of Cameroon. Now, the ship you see behind me is from Nigeria. This wharf opens Tiko to other parts of Africa, East and West Africa. Ships come here from Cotonou, some from Togo, and some from Nigeria. This area you see is the economic hub of Tiko. It opens Tiko to the rest of the world.
The over 2-hour program was punctuated with quality musical interludes and other display from the population. From Tiko, the team will continue with outdoor broadcasts in the seaside resort city of Limbe before wrapping up in Muyuka and Bamenda.
Some stakeholders in the Northwest and Southwest regions have taken a commitment to encourage more women to register for election and take part in the decision-making process in our country. This was after a 3-day workshop that wrapped up this Wednesday, November 23rd in Buea. In the following report, Sharon Tita says the capacity building workshop was organized by the National School of Local Administration, NASLA, in partnership with the Canadian High Commission. Sharon Tita tells us more.
Going by the National Institute of Statistics, women in Cameroon make up 51% of the country's population. Unfortunately, their numerical advantage has not been translated into positioning them in comfortable positions in the society. Many blame this on the poor participation of the feminine gender in the decision-making process. In order to bridge this gap, the National School of Administration and Local Development, NASLA, is partnering with the Canadian High Commission to increase female participation in the upcoming elections.
It was originally an initiative of the Canadian High Commission, who, within the framework of their Common Local Initiative Fund, set out to finance a number of local high-impact projects. And so NASLA's submission to one of these projects, we were retained. But at the time we submitted for this project because it dovetailed parts of our missions, which is not only capacity building at the local level, but we also think capacity building with a gender coloration. And these interests of ours having so perfectly fitted in with this funding from the Canadian High Commission.
In this 3-day workshop, dubbed Enhancing Women Participation in Special Status, the participants are sharpening their skills on how to mainstream the interests of women in the electoral process.
Of special status, and he has earmarked it and thought that it is an opportunity to bring women to the fold so that we can have conscientization, continuous knowledge gaining, so that we can be able to go a step further. Why not two? We want to go to the next level where when we have 100%, women should not be 35%, women should not even be 50%. We want women to be 51%, and why not 70% in politics?
The officials believe that women will play a key and strategic role in communities and deserve just as much as men to occupy decision-making positions if they want to impact on local governance.
In the next electoral cycle, we will see an increased women's participation in the Northwest and Southwest region, but also that they will take advantage of the new dispensation at the local level to increase their political influence and to inscribe gender-sensitive issues.
This workshop offers a platform for debate, experience sharing, and capacity building for some women in the Northwest and Southwest to create significant impact in their communities.
Come to gather more knowledge as to how to increase women's participation in electoral processes in other fields.
After this seminar, the officials are hoping to see an increase in the number of women participating in electoral process from the Northwest and Southwest regions.
Youths of Munya Dinyari gathered over the weekend for the Dinyari Youth Competition ahead of the Bishop's game in December. The youths of the Dinyari displayed their skills in socio-cultural activities like ballet and traditional dance in front of the jury to gain past scores to enable them go ahead to the next level. More details with Marion Genyi.
With lots of joy and jubilation, the youths of Munya Dinyari gathered for their socio-cultural competition ahead of the Bishop's Games come December. The day started with the ballet competitions and then the traditional dances from the different parishes under the Munya Dinyari. Goes on hitch-free, the judges feel entertained and overwhelmed by the performances of the youth from the Dinyari as they all respected the modalities which were given for the competition.
It went up smoothly and we are very happy. They were happy with the result and every other thing. We had 30 modalities that we took in respect to the traditional dance and the ballet, and finally we gave the result to one of the chaplains of Munya Dinyari to read the result, and everybody was satisfied with the result.
After a short wait and some deliberations, the results are proclaimed with lots of joy. The various parishes going up to represent the Dinyari feel so privileged.
It's been my dream to always keep Munya youth to the highest level, and I want to promise and assure the Munya youth, wherever they are, wherever they are hearing me from, that we have not ended, we are just starting. We will walk up to the Bishop's game with flying colors. This is just the beginning, and from now we'll have much more practices to make sure we come out with victors on that particular day.
As the youths from the different parishes go ahead to defend the deanery, they are reminded of their expectations and the need to double their efforts against other deaneries.
I'm expecting that they should go there and maybe they defeat other deaneries that are coming from Limbe, Tiko, Muyuka, and Boya with Moliko deanery. I'm expecting them more to perform more than what they performed today.
And from Moya deanery, 2 parishes have successfully gone through movies representing us at the Bishop's Games. So I believe from the efforts they put in their practice and the way they performed today, I think when they go up with that same spirit, they will be able to, at least one of them, to come up with the trophy. So I think they will not disappoint us, and we hope that they'll do well to represent the colors of Moya deanery and their various parishes very well.
With a satisfactory day and result, the youth depart to their various parishes, promising to do their very best in the next stage of the competitions come December at the Bishop's Games.
Priests in the Diocese of Boya have taken some time off to pray, reflect, and build themselves up such that they can effectively carry out their priestly ministry. This took place today, November 23rd, at the Regina Pacis Cathedral Small Supper. Details with Reverend Father Alphonse Ekema.
Priests in the Diocese of Boya gathered this day for what is known as the Day of the Sanctification of Priests, which comes up once a year. The prayerful atmosphere around the Small Supper Cathedral is evidence of the reality that these priests are here to pray, reflect, and redeepen their commitments.
So this day is given to us to come together, to pray, to reflect, and to retrace our steps so that we can be living the priesthood and the life we are called upon to live according to the mind of the church, in consonance with our vows, in consonance with that which is becoming of the priest.
A wonderful talk is given on the significance of mountains in the scripture, which is an invitation for the priest to reflect on their spiritual lives.
I began to see that the mountains in scripture carry mysteries, and we are surrounded by so much wealth of devotional material that if we concentrate and meditate on their significance, it will help us a lot.
The depth of the talk cannot be overemphasized, as many deduce helpful angles of understanding to help them grow in the priestly life.
And what really touched me in particular, the various stages which we climb, the various mountains which we climb, beginning from the mountain of self-emptying, getting right up to the stage of where we have to come to a mountain of Calvary, in which case we accept our suffering, especially as priests.
Some priests experiencing the day of sanctification for their first time see it as a time to kneel before the Lord and ask for graces to carry on.
This is my first experience of the sanctification day for priests in the Diocese of Boya, and I see it like a time not only to relax from the heavy work in the parish, but a time to come and kneel before the feet of Jesus and present all our burden in front of him.
On days like this, priests carry out several aspects like confessions, praying in communion, and above all, the celebration of Holy Mass. All these aspects are to help boost the spiritual lives of the priests and make them more active for ministry.
This report brings us to the end of our newscast today, and before we leave you, we give you the main headlines. It was a joyful celebration in Bamenda as Christians turned en masse to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Mihi missionaries in Cameroon. The seaside resort of Tiko was on the radar this Wednesday, November 23rd, as DMR-TV showcased the socio-economic potentials and historic evolution of the city. This as DMR-TV continued its special live broadcast across some major towns in Fako Division as part of activities leading up to the launching, scheduled for Thursday, December 15, 2022. The need to engage more women in the elections process and decision-making in Cameroon came under review during a 3-day workshop that wrapped up in Buea this Wednesday, November 23, 2022. These were our headlines and our top stories for the day. We take a rendezvous for tomorrow and we leave you in the company of more interesting programs on DMR TV. Your presenter, Reverend Father Michael Njumo. See you tomorrow and bye.